Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network. For the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews, press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Hello, 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 with the lights out. It's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. I feel stupid.
Oh my gosh, guys, I really love that cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit. If you don't see this movie, if nothing else, go to YouTube and check out the full version of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Thinking Up Anger. It is just phenomenal. I'm pretty sure actually hearing that song in the trailer got me to see this movie. So anyway, hey movie fans, welcome to another edition of the MovieChickk Quick Reviews here on the Popcorn Talk Network, your broadcast source for all things movie related, including discussions, interviews, news, all that fun stuff. We are here today to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Gallows and everything in between. Guys, I don't know really if I can fully recommend this movie to anybody who isn't me, because I was super ecstatic to see this movie because it was just kind of the movie I was looking for at the time. I don't know if everybody else is going to like it, though, because I was looking for something specific to my nostalgia of 90s cheesy, campy horror anthology series, and the story completely fit the bill. So let's go ahead and talk about the story a little bit. The Gallows is actually about a group of kids, Ryan, Reese, and Cassidy, who decide to break into the school auditorium one night because Reese is the star of the play, The Gallows. And he's really not that great of an actor. He can't act his way out of a paper bag, but he desperately wants to impress his co-star Pfeiffer. And so the way that they come up with sort of a solution for him not embarrassing himself is to break into the theater to try to tear down the set the night before the play so that he doesn't necessarily have to go on, but can still be there for Pfeiffer in her moment of need. Again, not the best plan in the world. What they don't really take into consideration is that The Gallows that they're putting on is actually a revival of a play that was done in 1993 where a prop malfunction caused a student named Charlie to accidentally be killed while putting on the play. So what they don't know is that Charlie's ghost is still haunting the theater, and it doesn't take them long after they break in to realize that they're stuck inside the theater, that they're trapped, and that there's something lurking in the darkness waiting to close the curtain on them. So the story, again, like I said, it's just that kind of 90s camp that I really was excited about. I saw the trailer and I was like, guys, this is literally the plot of my favorite Goosebumps book, The Phantom of the Auditorium. And I almost felt like this story could have been bookended by the Crypt Keeper, making all sorts of puns about hanging around and all that other stuff. I really would have loved to see that. And everybody who knows me knows I hate puns. The Crypt Keeper gets a pass for purely nostalgic purposes. But I really wanted to see that. And for me, the biggest detraction of this movie is the fact that it is a found footage movie. I would have enjoyed it a million times more if it had just been a normal aesthetic with maybe going to camera shots as an occasional POV shot, because there are some really cool camera composition shots. So fans of the found footage horror movie subgenre, that's a lot of words to say, but fans of the subgenre will really appreciate the camera compositions for a lot of these good shots. There are some really spot on cinematic moments. But again, if you're not a fan of found footage horror movies, there's not really a lot original here to either bring you on as a horror fan or to bring you on as a found footage horror movie fan. And what I mean by that is found footage movies these days are kind of a dime a dozen. And because of that, any found footage movie that comes out has to do something new. They have to push the envelope in some way to set themselves apart from everything else that have come out. There are 11 found footage movies that are coming out this year or that have already come out. By the time Paranormal Activity 6 comes out, it will be the 11th found footage horror movie this year. So for a movie like this to not really do anything unique technology-wise, it gets lost amongst the other films in that same genre. So that's unfortunate. And even though I loved the story, anybody who's a big horror fan, there's not really a whole lot there that's thought-provoking or deep enough to really bring them in if they're not a horror fan. So that's why I have trouble saying that I can recommend this to a lot of people who aren't already either found footage fans or, like I said, looking like me for something really campy and silly, but this movie didn't go campy and silly enough. So it's hard to say, again, who this movie is really for. I loved it because I was looking for that, but for a lot of other people, that's just not going to be the case. There's just not a lot for them here. But that's not to say that the movie isn't devoid of other good things. Like, the acting is actually really good. I will say something found footage movies often do well is really naturalistic performances. And the performances here are spot on. And kind of a fun fact about behind the scenes, the high school that they filmed at actually supposedly was haunted. So I feel like there are certain scenes where they're not really acting or that they didn't have to try that hard to act. So it's a lot of fun. If you are a fan of found footage horror movies, you'll enjoy yourself. Or actually, if you're a fan of 80s slasher movies, you might be able to have a lot of fun with this too, because they very much tried to build Charlie up as the next kind of iconic horror movie villain akin to Michael or Jason. I don't personally know if a found footage horror movie villain can become as iconic as the horror movie villains from the 80s, but it was a fun character design. Without giving anything away as well, I will say that there was a perfect point for the movie to cut to black, and it chooses not to. It chooses to add on one final scene, and again, I won't give anything away, but it chooses to add on one final scene that is kind of superfluous, and I get why they put it in there, but at the same time, it kind of makes you look back on the rest of the movie, and it raises more questions than it does answers. And it's not in like a thought-provoking way. It's very much in a plot hole, this doesn't make sense kind of way. The numbers don't add up. So that's kind of frustrating. But at the end of the day, it's still, for me, it was a fun romp, and I really enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed it more if it wasn't found footage, but it was great. And I have nothing else to say about it other than you probably won't like it, but it was the perfect movie for me. So that just about wraps it up, guys. If you guys haven't already done so, please subscribe to the Popcorn Talk and to the MovieChickk on YouTube and all that fun stuff. Be sure to follow us at the MovieChickk. Remember, that's Chick with 2 Ks. And the Popcorn Talk on Twitter and all forms of social media. You can follow me on Twitter at The Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows at our sister network, AfterBuzz. So be sure to check those out as well. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all next time.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.